Hey guys, so today I'm going to show you how I'm going to make a landscape and the different parts and what you need to know when you make a landscape or any sort of scene. Okay, so I'm calling it a landscape, but that's a really general term because you could also have a seascape where it's on the ocean instead of on land. You could have a pastoral scene where you see like a farm with all the animals and stuff, or you could be inside a building. It wouldn't really be a landscape then, but it would still have all the same stuff we're going to talk about. Okay, so you're going to think of your scene, and I like the idea of a seascape. I want to do something with lots of water moving around. So what I'm going to do first is lay down my horizon line to create my ground. And this is not a real ground like you stand on, but a ground in art, which means just where the picture is happening, what's going on there. I'm going to put this horizon line. You can see it's horizontal. That means a lot like that, because horizontal is like the horizon. If it was up and down, we'd call it vertical, and it wouldn't be a horizon, would it? Horizon is like where the sky meets the earth, or the sky meets the water if you're looking at the ocean. So there's my horizon line I've got here, and so I've separated it up until I've got sky and I've got water or ground, depending on what I want to draw. Now, when you're looking at your ground, which is just your whole area of the picture, you're going to have to put figures in it. You're going to have to populate it with figures, and figures is just anything you want to have live in your little space. It could be people, it could be animals, it could even be things. So I think I'm going to have some boats in my ground. I'm going to have a boat up here. This boat's close to us. You know, see, there's a little boat. Maybe I'll put a person in there later. I'll have a boat over here, maybe two boats over here. Okay. Now, I haven't really added the waves or stuff yet. I'm just populating my ground with some figures. Coming up with what I want to be living in my ground, my little areas, the little guy in this boat. Okay, so maybe I'll put some tiny little boats over here, way in the distance on the horizon. Maybe over on this side there's an island. So if you got close, you could go to the island. Some trees on it. Okay, so I've added more and more to my seascape, and it's getting more interesting. I'm not done yet, but I want to talk about how there's different areas of my ground. So I've got this part of the ground down here. This is what's closest to us in the picture. If this was a real picture and I took it with a camera, this boat would be very close to us, right? This is called the foreground. The foreground's very close to you. Okay? It's the things that are right up close. Like if I put some waves right up close, that's the foreground. Now as we move backwards in this imaginary space, we end up over here. If I put some little people on this boat maybe, we end up over here in the middle, and this is the middle ground. It means things that are in the middle of the picture, not all the way far away, not all the way close, but in the middle. And that's usually where most of the important stuff in a landscape or painting happens. So if you check out some paintings, we'll see if we can find some stuff happening in the middle ground. So that's where stuff's going on, and I think I'll have some waves in my middle ground. Okay. Now if we go all the way back to where the horizon is, this island I put, these tiny little boats, this stuff back here is the background. It's the part that's way in the back. It's far away. It's kind of like the backdrop if you were in a play and you had a big painting behind you. That's called the backdrop. That is like where you imagine you are. Well, the background is the backdrop of the picture. It's the setting, so we can see all that's behind us. So what's going on? The foreground's close to us. The middle ground is in the middle, and that's where stuff's going on. And the background's just setting the scene, showing us where we are, what kind of day it is. Say it's a sunny-ish day with some rolly kind of clouds. Okay, so that's the background. Now, how can we tell how close things are? How can we tell what's in the foreground and what's in the middle ground and what's in the background? Well, if we look at a picture here, we can see that the guy in the foreground, he's really big, right? Compared to these little guys, he's pretty huge. He's got, his boat is the biggest boat, but if we think about it, it's probably not really the biggest boat. All these boats are probably the same size, but he is closest to us. And we call it scale when we change the size of the same actual sized objects. We change the size of the drawing to show how close or far away it is. We change the scale. Okay, so we made this boat scaled up bigger because he's closer. And we made these boats smaller, and these little people, because they are further away. So they're scaled down. So if we compare the objects, we can tell foreground, bigger objects, middle ground, smaller objects, and finally, background has very small objects. Okay? And this goes for any kind of picture you want to draw, any kind of place. And I want you guys to do some brainstorming, thinking of different places. I want you to think of at least 8 different places that you might want to draw, and we'll do some sketching. Okay? Have fun. Bye.